Welcome everyone to today's webinar, Introduction to Opsgenie. I'm Sean Pinney and I'm joined by Kate Clavitt. Kate, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. So before we get into the webinar today, a couple of housekeeping items. You can interact with us. We love to have questions submitted during the webinar, and you can use the Q&A chat widget that's in the bottom right-hand side of your screen at any time, and we'll take questions at the end of the webinar. You can also check out the resources pages that we've provided with you. Those should be popping up within the webinar window as well. And we are recording this webinar. We'll get back to you with the recording within a few days after the event. So to get started with Opsgenie, we're going to dive into a demo with Kate. But before we do that, we want to talk a little bit about where Opsgenie came from and where we're going. As you may know, we have 200 plus integrations with all the different monitoring, chat ops, ticketing tools that are out there. And really that's one of the backbones of the Opsgenie platform, being able to integrate those tools, no matter what tool it might be, and route alerts to the right team at the right time. Taking a step back from there, when the company was founded, we were seeing that IT and dev stacks were becoming more and more complicated. Teams were implementing some of those tools I was just talking about, Datadog, New Relic, etc., for monitoring, and we integrate with many of them. The only problem is, if you just integrate a bunch of those tools, you can end up with a lot of alerts coming through your systems, and that can kind of overwhelm your teams. So in that typical environment, important notifications can be missed, ops team members are receiving non-relevant alerts, communication is one-directional, and alert fatigue can reduce your team's responsiveness. All the issues that Opsgenie is out to solve. So we like to think of Opsgenie as sitting right between those monitoring tools and the operational team that manages those tools. And then at the back end, we've got great documentation and reporting, which we're going to show you as part of our demo. So in traditional incident management, you have to think about a few different things. The who of who should be alerted, when they should be alerted, and how. In Opsgenie, there's 4 different ways that you can set up your notification preferences so you never miss an alert and you're getting alerted and notified the right way, email, phone, SMS, or mobile app. And also, has the alert been acknowledged? Should it be escalated? All things that we're going to show you as well as part of our demo. The benefits of this are, like we mentioned, immediately reducing the noise associated with multiple monitoring tools or other systems, allowing events and alarms to be consolidated, deduplicated, prioritized in one location. Only the correct people are notified at the right time via the right channel, and everything is recorded and able to be reported on and analyzed. In addition to integrating with monitoring tools, we've noticed that chat tools have become the favored method of communication for IT and dev environments. Chat ops practices have been heavily adopted, with Slack being the major one. Agile ticketing, project management solutions are being deployed, Jira Service Desk, Zendesk, etc. So really, if you think of the entire universe that Opsgenie lives in, we integrate with monitoring tools, but we also integrate with your chat ops tools, your ticketing systems, and this ties into the 200 plus integrations that I was speaking with at the top of the webinar. So really, no matter what tool you have, Opsgenie has, and in many cases, a bidirectional integration with those tools. And you still have the great documentation and reporting on the back end. So really, if you're looking at a modern incident management platform, you're looking at providing all the alerting and on-call management in one place, recording and synchronizing all that information in all systems, and enabling people to take action within chat environments like Slack or MS Teams even. Reports and activities are all analyzed, and it's all in one centralized location for you. So with that, we're going to dive into our demo of Opsgenie. We'll look at teams, integrations, policies, the profile, actions, reporting, and we'll do that now.
Great, so let's dive into the demo. Once you log into Opsgenie, the first screen that you see is the alerts dashboard. And the reason for this is that when folks are logging into Opsgenie, they're doing so to take action on an alert. But for the purposes of the demo, we're going to start for the Teams page. The organizational structure of Opsgenie is built around team. So all of your integrations are built around a team. The alerting and on-call schedules, those are all built around teams. So that's why we start in a team. To add a team, it's very simple. You just click this button here and you name it. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to go into a team that I've already created. Once I click into the team, you'll see routing rules, escalation policies, and on-call schedules. But the first thing that you do after you create a team is add members. And you can do that from this panel here on the left. In Opsgenie, we have 2 main levels of users, administrators and users. An administrator has access to change and configure everything, whereas a user has the ability to see everything, but they may not be able to act on everything, with the exception of being able to override an on-call shift. All you do is click Add Member, and then search for someone that you've added to your account as a user, and you can add Sean to your team and determine his role as an administrator or a user. We do have custom roles which allow you to manage on a more granular level the different items that folks have access to. So perhaps you want different members of your team to have additional permissions. That's something that you can do here. Now that you've got your team set up, the next step is to set up an integration. Opsgenie has over 200 pre-built integrations, and we do offer the opportunity to integrate using an API, email. We can basically accept anything that sends JSON or HTTPS. If there's a last resort option, email is always there for that. Today we're going to focus on the Jira integration. Our integrations framework has a simple and an advanced tab. So the purpose of the simple tab is to enable you to get your integration set up quickly. For each of our integrations, we have main instructions up here, and then if you need additional information, you can always check out the support documentation. So for this example, you'll see that because I selected the Jira integration from within my team, my DevOps team is already assigned to this integration. So they're the ones that are going to receive alerts when they come through. The next thing down here is where the action mapping actually takes place, and most of our ITSM tools have this as part of the integration. When Jira tells Opsgenie to create an alert, what information do you want sent back to Jira? So if the alert is acknowledged within Opsgenie, a comment will be added to the issue in Jira, and you can manage each of these items here or add other actions as well. For other Opsgenie alerts is referring to any alerts that come through Opsgenie that perhaps are from a different ITSM tool or some of your other monitoring tools that are not Jira software. So, for example, you might not want every single Opsgenie alert to create an issue in Jira because that's just going to cause alert fatigue. In this case, you're going to want to use the alert filter to match conditions below. For every priority 1 alert, then you can create an issue in Jira because knowing that this issue is critical, it means that you'd actually like that to be documented. Let's take a quick look at the Advanced tab. So from the Advanced tab, you have the option to more granularly manage the alert. The alias field is a unique identifier that Opsgenie uses in order to deduplicate alerts. So if the same payload comes through twice, instead of sending 2 separate alerts and alerting you twice, Opsgenie simply increases the count of the alert. So here is where you can adjust the alert field. So you have the opportunity to add information to the message. Perhaps you want the event in there, or the event type name, etc. So you can really granularly manage what information is included within that alert. So now that that's all set, let's head back to the Teams page to go over on-call schedules and escalation policies. Most customers do their work out of the Teams page because you can see everything in one place. When your team is first created, and the first step is to create a rotation. I'm just going to click into a rotation that I've already got created here. So this is our off hours rotation, and the participants are these 2 folks. And you can see that it's a daily rotation. You have the opportunity to make it daily, weekly, or custom. A lot of folks will use the custom portion if they have a follow the sun schedule or something like that set up. You can restrict it to time intervals and also include an end date. So this particular schedule is for off hours. So this is not normal working hours for this particular team. It starts in the evening and ends early in the morning. This is also a common practice. So folks will have this off hours work schedule, and then the regular work hours schedule here. You have 2 people working, and this is also restricted to time intervals. So this will start at 9 a.m. in the morning and end in the evening. In the event that someone's out sick or cannot make their scheduled time, all you need to do is simply hover over the schedule and click override. And so then that automatically, because I'm the one clicking override, it puts me in place for Sean. And then down here, I'm shown in the final schedule. So you know that I'm taking that shift for Sean. So users do have the ability to override an on-call shift. You can also complete an override from the mobile app, which is helpful to know. In the top corner here enables you to disable a schedule. You can open it within Calendar. You also have the option to export the team schedule in order to use it in your Gmail calendar or your Outlook calendar. That's pretty much the basics of the on-call schedule. So the next thing we're going to talk about are routing rules and escalation policies. These two items work together to make sure that the right person is being alerted at the right time and can act on the alert. So this is a pretty basic escalation policy. Let's just take a look at it. So if the alert's not acknowledged, immediately users that are on call in Kate's test team schedule are going to be notified. If it doesn't get acknowledged after 10 minutes, we're going to notify Kate, who is the manager of the team, so that way she can ensure that somebody is working in order to get this resolved. You have the option to repeat the escalation process as many times as you like. You can adjust that down here. Or if the alert isn't closed, you can check this so that it reverts acknowledged and seen states to ensure that it's closed within a certain amount of time. You can also determine that after escalation repeats are finished, you'd like that alert closed. So you have different options there. Now let's take a look at the routing rules. So a good example of a routing rule that a lot of folks have in place is when an alert priority is P5, which means it's lower informational. It's not routed to anyone. So when you route an alert to no one, Opsgenie receives that alert. It's recorded, but it's not paging people, it's not calling people, it's not texting people. Typically, you don't need folks paged and called for a P5. So that's something that a lot of people do employ. Let's click into this one to take a look. Routing rules enable you to use the filters that work best for your purpose and really optimize the flow and the way that the alerts are routed. So let's take a look at this routing rule. A common application is to restrict it to time intervals. So in this example, during off hours and weekends, people are not going to be notified for P5 and P4 alerts. So this means that you're not waking people up, you're not bothering them. In this case, when an alert comes through during these particular times, it's routed to no one. This means that Opsgenie records it, it receives the alert, and the alert is in the system, but it's not paging people, it's not calling them, it's not texting them. The next thing we're going to take a look at are policies. So let's click into policies. Alert policies are a global or team-based rule that indicate an adjustment or they add something specific to the corresponding alert. So in this case, this particular alert policy, when a message comes through that contains API and critical, you can ensure that the priority is always updated to critical. You click update, and what will happen is every time an alert's being created, that priority will be adjusted based on API and critical being part of the message. And as I mentioned before, there's two kinds. There's a global rule and a team rule. So the global rules are accessed first by the system. So you want to make sure that you put these in the proper order. Next are notification policies. So notification policies are a team-based rule that allow you to auto-restart, delay, suppress, or auto-close alerts. So a very common application is this particular policy here. So when the alert is low priority, you have it enabled here. So that way teams can respond and take care of the alerts during the normal working day. So the next thing we're going to take a look at is profile. So your profile settings are important since this is exactly how you get notified. So here you see my customer name, all of my vital information, my time zone and preferred language, all the teams that I'm a part of as well. The next thing that you want to confirm once you set up your account is your email, your phone number for SMS, your phone number for phone calls, and syncing the mobile app. So down here you determine with your notification rules how you're going to be notified. So perhaps you'd like to be notified immediately through mobile push. That's what I have set up here. Maybe you want to be notified via SMS after 5 minutes and an email after 20 minutes. So one thing that I suggest is to always have a catch-all to ensure that you're always getting the information through some channel. Now let's take a look at the alerts dashboard and closer look at the anatomy of an alert. So here you can see the count is 1, which means it wasn't duplicated, but if the alert had been duplicated, that count would have increased to 2 or so. You can see this is coming from status page. This particular alert is assigned to Kate's DevOps team, and it's coming from Twilio. So that's a service that we've subscribed to through external services, and we're getting updates whenever they update their status page. On this side here is where you take actions on the alert. You can acknowledge, close, assign, add a responder, snooze, or delete. Let's click into the alert to see more information. So the source is Atlassian status page, as we know. Responders are Kate's DevOps team. It shows you when it was last updated. The alias is listed here. Documentation link is here. You have all the information there. The activity log shows you all of the action that's occurred. So it knows that I looked at this. It shows you here that I viewed it. Opsgenie logs the complete life cycle of the alert. And that's something we'll get into a little bit later when we take a look at the reporting. So now that we kind of have more of an idea of the anatomy of the alert, let's go back to the dashboard and I'll show you how you can search. So you have the option to search in more of a global style. You can search for anything that has the word critical in it. You can search based on source. So if I just want to see status page, it will show me everything that's coming from status page. You can also use this filter here to do a quick search this way. Perhaps you want it just by acknowledge by and click search. And then you can save all the different queries that you use. So I'm going to call this acknowledged by Kate. And then I have the option to keep it private to me, share it with my team, or share it with anyone in the Opsgenie account. And then just click Save. That will show down here, and you can click on it in order to see the results. So now let's take a quick look at the reporting page. I had mentioned that Opsgenie records everything from alert generation to closure, and that can be really helpful for you, so that way you can look at the analytics of everything. So let's just take a quick look through there. So we're not going to go through all of the reports available, but a great one that you're going to see upon logging into the analytics section is a quick insight report. So it shows you at a high level how many alerts were created, what the MTTA was for that month, what the MTTR was that month. You can also see how many alerts per team. So you can determine, which team is handling the majority of those alerts, and you can make resource adjustments if necessary. And then you can also take a look at the alerts created by day. So are there certain days of the month where more alerts are created, or certain days of the week? It just gives you a general idea of what's going on with the alerting aspect of things. And then this even tells you down to the very hour how many alerts are generated by hour, which is pretty cool. So this is a great, helpful report. Another one that a lot of folks like to take a look at are API usage. So you can determine which API, so you have 21 API calls here, 1 active integration, so you can see by day, and then break that down as well into alerts, configurations, heartbeats, and integrations. You have the option up here to download a report as a PDF or a CSV. You can send it or schedule it. So a great tool that a lot of folks like to do is take the monthly overview report, which is here, which we took a look at first. And so typically what they do is they schedule this. So perhaps you want to send this once a month to your CTO. So give your schedule a name. I'll call this the CTO monthly report. Make sure I add in the CTO's email there, and then you can even include a custom message. So, hey, here's the overview you asked for, or perhaps you want to include more information. You can format the data as a PDF as well as visualization or a CSV file. Send that monthly on the 1st of each month at 6 a.m. and then just send a test email to make sure it works and click Save. So you're all set, so now your CTO is going to get that email each month and have that information in a nutshell. So there is a lot more that you can do with reporting. We could probably spend an entire webinar on that, but again, the purpose of this is just to give you a high-level view of the different aspects of Opsgenie and how they can help your team. So that concludes the demo, and now we're going to take your questions.